Few forces on the battlefield inspire the same level of fear and respect as a tank. With their thick armor, heavy caliber cannons, and ability to traverse rough terrain, tanks have become the ultimate symbols of ground warfare dominance. When advancing in formation, they provide a near impenetrable front line that can cut through defenses, neutralize infantry, and support broader assaults with devastating firepower. Their psychological impact alone can break enemy morale, and the sight of armored columns often signals an impending, overwhelming assault. Thus, effective anti-tank strategies are not only about survival, but also about maintaining the balance of power on the battlefield, making tank hunting a key focus in modern warfare planning. The concept of tank hunter aircraft emerged during World War II as a response to the increasing threat posed by armored vehicles. Germany initially led this innovation, creating planes like the Junkers GAU-8 Stuka, modified with 37mm cannons under each wing. Similarly, the Henschel HS-129 was designed specifically for anti-tank warfare, featuring heavy armor and powerful 30mm cannons for penetrating tank armor. The British Hawker Hurricane was also adapted for anti-tank roles during World War II, specifically with the Mark IID variant. Equipped with 40mm Vickers S guns mounted under each wing, it became known as the Flying Can Opener due to its offensive capabilities against lightly armored vehicles and tanks. Its legacy was further expanded with the Hawker Typhoon 1B. Meanwhile, the US experimented with anti-tank capabilities, notably modifying the B-25 Mitchell bomber to carry a 75mm cannon and the famous P-47 Thunderbolt. The Soviets, too, adapted their own aircraft, like the Ilyushin II Sturmovik, which played a crucial role in the Eastern Front, armored with cannons and rockets tailored to combat German armor. However, early tank hunter aircraft in World War II had mixed effectiveness against armored targets. Theoretically, their heavy cannons and specialized bombs could disable tanks under certain conditions, especially when attacking lightly armored or rear sections. But the real-world battlefield results were not that great. One key factor was the difficulty of accurately hitting moving tanks, especially given the limited targeting precision of World War II aircraft. For example, the Soviets claimed substantial tank kills with the II-2 during the Battle of Kursk, using cluster PTAB bombs designed to penetrate tank armor. Despite these claims, records indicate that most German tank losses there resulted from anti-tank guns and mechanical failures, not airstrikes. Similarly, studies of Western Allied air operations in Normandy found that despite intensive rocket and cannon attacks by Typhoons and Thunderbolts, only a small percentage of German tank losses could be attributed to aerial attacks. In essence, while tank hunting aircraft were useful for disrupting enemy movements and causing psychological impacts, their effectiveness was limited by technical and tactical constraints. Their true value lay more in attacking soft targets and rear echelons, damaging supply lines and forcing enemy forces to maneuver, rather than in directly destroying tanks in large numbers. Thus, while impactful, early tank hunter aircraft were only marginally effective as dedicated anti-tank tools. This was about to change. The origins of the anti-tank aircraft used today date back to the Cold War years. It was during this period that the idea of using anti-tank aircraft to stop tank columns met the technology that would achieve this goal effectively. With its long-range BGM-71 tow missiles able to destroy tanks from outside the range of defensive fire, Bell AH-1 Cobra was effective enough to prompt the US military to change its defensive strategy in Europe into blunting any Warsaw Pact advance with anti-tank helicopters instead of the tactical nuclear weapons that had been the basis of NATO's battle plans since the 1950s. As the US Army was enjoying their attack helicopters, USAF issued a detailed request for proposals for a specialized close air support aircraft which can counter the threat of Soviet armored forces. The requirements included that the aircraft would be designed specifically for the now famous 30mm rotary cannon. On the 10th of February 1976, the Deputy Secretary of Defense authorized full-rate production, with the first A-10 being accepted by the Air Force Tactical Air Command on the 30th of March 1976. And so, a legend which later became the star of hundreds of internet memes was born. The Fairchild Republic A-10 Thunderbolt II, aka the Warthog, has a cantilever low-wing monoplane wing with a wide chord. The aircraft has superior maneuverability at low speeds and altitude because of its large wing area, high wing aspect ratio, and large ailerons. The wing also allows short takeoffs and landings, permitting operations from primitive forward airfields near front lines. The aircraft can loiter for extended periods and operate under 1,000-foot ceilings with 1.5-mile visibility. It typically flies at a relatively low speed of 300 knots, which makes it a better platform for the ground attack role than fast fighter bombers. An unusual feature is that many of the aircraft's parts are interchangeable between the left and right sides, including the engines, main landing gear, and vertical stabilizers. The A-10 is battle-hardened to an exceptional degree, being able to survive direct hits from armor-piercing and high-explosive projectiles up to 23mm. It has double redundant hydraulic flight systems and a mechanical system as a backup if hydraulics are lost. The cockpit and parts of the flight control systems are protected by 1,200 pounds of titanium aircraft armor, referred to as a bathtub. Although the A-10 can carry a considerable amount of munitions, its primary built-in weapon is the 30 by 173mm GAU-8 Avenger autocannon. The GAU-8 is a hydraulically driven 7-barrel rotary cannon designed specifically for the anti-tank role with a high rate of fire. One of the most powerful aircraft cannons ever flown, it flies large depleted uranium armor-piercing shells. The AGM-65 Maverick air-to-surface missile is a commonly used munition for the A-10. Other weapons include cluster bombs and Hydra 70 rocket pods. The A-10 is also equipped to carry GPS and laser-guided bombs. During the Gulf War, the A-10 force was credited with destroying 987 tanks, 926 artillery pieces, 1,355 combat vehicles, and a range of other targets. If this aircraft is not a flying tank, then what is? Well then, enter Boeing AH-64 Apache. This helicopter still continues to be the nightmare of all tankers since the 80s. Designed to employ its weapon systems against enemy tanks from a hover and then move from battle position to battle position, flying at treetop height, the Apache was a tank killer from its inception. The M230 chain gun cannon is powered by a 2-horsepower electric motor capable of firing linkless ammunition at a rate of approximately 625 rounds per minute. For practical purposes, the air-cooled weapon maintains a firing rate of around 300 rounds per minute, requiring a 10-minute cooldown after sustained use. The design includes safety features such as a mechanism to prevent ammunition cook-off to safely clear an open bolt and safeguards against double feeding of rounds. Expended shells are discarded through the bottom of the weapon, directly out of the aircraft. Yes, the M230 is a truly devastating weapon, but it is just the tip of the iceberg of the AH-64's heavy loadout. After all, this helicopter was designed to kill tanks. The Apache has 4 hardpoints on subwings and can carry various missiles. Armament is being tailored depending on mission requirements. The most well-known of these weapon systems is the AGM-114 Hellfire. Born and bred to destroy heavy armor, the AGM-114 Hellfire is a family of laser-guided missiles serving as a key component of the US Army. The Hellfire AGM-114 missile series exhibits a modular design comprising 5 main sections: the homing head, Command and Navigation System or CNS, the combat unit, Battle Component or BC, the control system, the engine, and the controls. This family of missiles includes a multitude of models. The AGM-114L is one specific model that has been engineered for exclusive deployment on the Apache longbow attack helicopter. This variant uses a millimeter wave or MMW radar seeker, offering effective target engagement within a range of 0.31 and 4.97 miles. The latest variant within this missile family is the AGM-114R, also known as Hellfire Romeo. Designed to replace all previous Hellfire 2 missile configurations, this version consolidates the capabilities of earlier models into a single powerful missile system. The Hellfire Romeo is equipped with semi-active laser or SAL seekers and has been tailored to counter a wide spectrum of targets, making it a versatile weapon for a variety of military operations. The latest version of the Apaches, the AH-64E Guardian, is capable of being armed with as many as 16 AGM-114R Hellfire 2 anti-tank guided missiles. For protection against enemy helicopters, this helicopter can be equipped with up to 2 AIM-9 Sidewinders, 4 AIM-92 Stingers, and 4 Mistral air-to-air missiles. Additionally, it can carry 2 AGM-122 sidearm air-to-ground anti-radiation missiles for engaging hostile radar systems. Commonly, the gunship is outfitted with pods that can hold 19 Hydra 70 unguided rockets each. However, these tank hunter aircraft, which have been terrorizing tanks and ground personnel for decades, are under some serious threats. The proliferation of man-portable air defense systems, or MANPADS, has significantly impacted the effectiveness and survivability of tank hunter aircraft and other low-flying military aviation assets. MANPADS, like the US-made Stinger or the Soviet Igla, are designed to be portable and can be operated by a single individual, making them highly versatile and difficult to counter. These weapons pose a substantial threat to aircraft performing close air support or tank hunting missions, as they often operate at altitudes and speeds vulnerable to MANPADS' heat-seeking capabilities. The impact of MANPADS on tank hunter aircraft became particularly apparent during conflicts such as the Soviet-Afghan War, where US-supplied Stingers allowed Afghan fighters to down hundreds of Soviet helicopters and aircraft, forcing the Soviets to limit the operations of their air assets. The ongoing war in Ukraine demonstrates how vulnerable close air support aircraft are to modern threats from the ground. Beyond the battlefield, MANPADS have driven advancements in aircraft countermeasures, including flares and evasive maneuvers. However, these are often only partially effective, as newer MANPADS models use advanced targeting and tracking methods that resist traditional countermeasures. Consequently, tank hunter aircraft and similar ground attack platforms have had to adapt tactics, operating from higher altitudes and limiting time over contested areas to mitigate risks. Despite these measures, MANPADS remain a persistent threat, influencing military tactics, aircraft design, and international arms control efforts to curb their proliferation in conflict zones worldwide. In a contested air environment, even one that is imperfectly contested, as is the case with Ukraine, ground attack aircraft like the A-10 Warthog and the Apache AH-64 will suffer a degree of attrition that may quickly become unacceptable. Furthermore, drones are becoming increasingly sophisticated over time. The drones are effective against armor because they are small, relatively cheap when compared to a tank, and simple to use. These unmanned aerial vehicles can deliver laser-guided bombs to the enemy. Moreover, they can stay in the air for long periods of time, which provides them with near unrivaled abilities to hide and ambush enemy armor with near impunity. While it may seem like the heyday of the legendary tank destroyer birds are in the past for now, it is possible that they will still be around for a while thanks to their advanced capabilities, experience on the battlefield, and the respect of the personnel who fought alongside them. This concludes our episode that provides a glimpse into the rise and demise of tank hunter aircraft. So what do you think about the future of these remarkable machines? What other pieces of military hardware would you like us to cover in our future episodes? Also, if you were lucky enough to see these weapons up close, or better yet, operated one, please comment.
Jeep Hog 1 and 2 are going to send down to 15,000 and head back towards our area for the range.
Remember to hit the subscribe button and ring that bell to stay updated with our latest content. And while you're here, why not check out another one of our exciting videos? Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.